Good morning, welcome back. So now we are starting lecture number 7.2. So this particular lecture is lecture number 7.2a. In this we will learn how to estimate grinding temperature, particularly for dry grinding using conventional wheel. So we are going to use Malkin's approach. Malkin introduced a coefficient called eta such that eta is QW by QT. So in that respect, eta is nothing but RW, but consistently in his publication he has used eta. So for Malkin's approach we will use RW as eta. What was his proposal? His proposal was eta equal to UG minus 0.45 UCH divided by UG is the value of eta. So what he is saying, whatever energy you spend for chip formation, which is in case of steel is 13.6 joule per millimeter cube, 45% of that is taken away by the chip. So this amount of it is taken away by the chip. So this was his proposal. Already we have seen QW plus QCH equal to this. So QW is nothing but QT minus this, which is nothing but RW equal to 1 minus RCH. So what he was saying, this RW, instead of that he was using a nomenclature which is eta equal to 1 upon RCH. So from this his value of RCH is 0.45 divided by UCH by UG. What is this 0.4? What is RCH? Amount of heat taken away by the chip, amount of heat flux taken away by the chip, or fraction of total heat flux taken away by the chip. So this was his hypothesis. What was the basis of his hypothesis? That is not very clear. He has done empirical studies and found out that this is what it is. So for Malkin's hypothesis, what we will do is something like this. We will erase everything and then we will write that Malkin proposed eta equal to RW equal to UG minus 0.45 UCH divided by UG. Now what is the problem? This problem is case of a plant surface grinding where CH is given, the nature of UG variation is given, X is given, that is what is the effect of downfeed on UG, U0 is given. So first thing we will do is that we will calculate UG. For calculation of UG it is 13.6 plus 210 divided by 45 to the power 0.8, because in this equation UG has to be put in joule per millimeter cube, this has to be put in micron. Once you do that you will be able to get UG. So let me get my calculator and calculate it, and simultaneously you can also calculate. So this is coming out to be roughly 23.6 joule per millimeter cube. Okay, for A equal to this much. Next one that we would like to calculate is QT, because QT has to be calculated. So for calculation of QT it is FT into FW divided by LC into BW. LC is nothing but square root of A, which is this, into 200, and BW is 10, and this one is nothing but UG into MRR. So UG into MRR is nothing but 23.6 into MRR is 10 millimeter BW, 45 micron A, and 200 millimeter per second VW. So if you put it over here with proper units, I have taken care of the unit. If you have problem taking care of the unit in this manner, you can always use everything in SI unit. So numerator becomes 2124 and the denominator becomes 3 into 10. So this one becomes divided by 30. So it is 70. Where is it? 70.8. So my QT has been calculated, which is 70.8 watt per millimeter square. So this is in millimeter, this is in millimeter, that is in millimeter square. So let us go to the next page. So I have a QT which is 70.8 watt per millimeter square, and now I have to calculate eta. Eta is UG minus 0.45 UCH divided by UG. UG I believe was 23.6. I have forgotten. Yes, it is 23.6 minus 0.45 into 13.6 divided by 23.6. So that will give you a eta, which happens to be RW as well, equals to something. So let us find out how much it is. So this is coming out to be 0.74. So what was theta? Theta was 1.13 into QW divided by beta W into root over LC by VW. This is a distance unit, this is a velocity. So I will put that in the first place. So LC was 3 millimeter, so I am taking it in meter. This was 200 millimeter per second, so it is 0.2. Beta W we have to calculate. How much is beta W? Beta W is square root of CW into rho W into KW. Your CW was 500, rho W was 7800 and KW was 50. If you take square root of that, beta W becomes 13964.24, that I am not writing. And what is QW? QW is nothing but 74.74 into 70.8 into 10 to the power 6. If you calculate this, you will get theta. So let us calculate this. So 0.74 into 70.8 exponential 6 divided by 13964 into 1.13 into square root of so that comes out to be roughly 519.2. Now the question is, what is it? Is it centigrade? Is it Kelvin? What is its unit? Please recall, this is not grinding temperature. This is rise in workpiece temperature. So workpiece temperature is theta plus theta ambient. So that is nothing but rise in temperature. So whether this rise is in C or K, whether it is in centigrade or Kelvin, it doesn't really matter. So that way we have first estimated a temperature of around 520 degree for dry grinding. What approach we have taken? We have taken Malkin's approach. What is the speciality of Malkin's approach? The speciality or peculiarity of Malkin's approach is that Malkin proposed this empirical equation. He proposed this empirical equation, and based on that empirical equation, the apportionment coefficient has been calculated. So based on this equation, the apportionment coefficient has been calculated. Typically it is RW in the unified language, but he always used the term eta. So we will continue to use that term eta. Whenever we use the term eta, we understand that it is Malkin's approach. Okay, now let us see the other approach, which is a bit more analytical in nature. So this is generalized approach. In generalized approach, we have to first calculate RW. If we can calculate RW, then RW and QW mixed together will give you QW, and once QW is calculated, you can definitely calculate theta, that is rise in temperature. So trick lies in estimation of QW, and for doing that we need QT and RW. Till now we have calculated RW using Malkin's approach. Now we are going to do generalized approach. The problem statement remains same, problem statement does not change. So let us see how we can do the generalized approach. So first thing what I am going to write is this particular term. This is material removal rate, that I am multiplying by this. So this is becoming material removal rate in weight terms, in mass term, that I am multiplying with CW and theta MP. What is this theta MP? This theta MP is the melting temperature minus ambient temperature. So it is, as because melting temperature of steel is rather high, it is in this particular range. So ambient temperature doesn't really play a role. So this is, you can simply say as melting temperature, or you can be a Puritan and you can say it is melting temperature minus the ambient temperature. But this should always be there in your head, that what it is. So what is this? This is the amount of heat that the chip can take away. This is the amount of heat. This is what? This is joule per kg per degree Kelvin, and this is degree Kelvin. So this degree Kelvin cancels out, this kg and this kg cancels out. So this is basically a heat rate. What is this heat rate? This heat rate is amount of heat that the chip can take away. Now here something else has to be written, a small adjective that has to be written, that is maximum. Why is it maximum? Because a chip which was generated at ambient temperature, this is going to melting temperature, and this is the maximum amount of heat it can take away. You might say, where is the guarantee that this is going to melting temperature, all the chips are going to melting temperature? There is a concept which is called upper bound solution and lower bound solution in analytical domain. This is the upper bound solution. This is the maximum amount of heat it can take away. Second thing is that you might say, Achha, there is one more term missing. What is that term? That is the term which is coming from latent heat of melting. Why we are not considering that? For that we have to go back to mechanism of chip formation, particularly the structure of spherical chips. Spherical chips which are obtained in grinding, none of them they are solid. They do not form by melting and resolidification. I want to stress, they do not form by melting and solidification. Inspection of the ground surface does not reveal any melting in case of grinding. For that reason, we can safely assume melting does not take place, and for which latent heat of melting does not come into being. So this is the heat rate. What is this then? This is capital Q dot CH. Then what is small q dot CH? So we have written capital Q dot CH is rho W into VW BW into A. This is the material removal rate part, CW into theta MP divided by LC by BW. So this has to be divided by LC by BW as well, and this will give you RCH. Sorry, this will give you QCH. This is not RCH. This will give you QCH. So let us write it properly. What is RCH? RCH is QCH divided by QT, which is rho W, VW, BW, A, CW, theta MP divided by LC into BW, whole thing divided by UG into BW, VW into A. This multiplication is nothing but grinding power, that divided by LC into BW. So this cancels out. These two terms cancel out, and you end up with RCH term equal to rho W CW into theta MP divided by UG. So we have a expression for RCH. This is the upper bound analytical solution, assuming how much maximum heat the chip can take away. Okay, now let us see, using this particular expression, can we solve the problem? And when we solve the problem, how our solution match or does not match with Malkin's approach. For doing that, we need to note down all those values. I have a small paper, so where I have noted them down. So you need to note down as well. So for that, first let us write down the expression of RCH. RCH is rho W CW theta MP divided by UG. UG was 23.6. I'll take it to SI unit. This is this unit into this is 500, and melting temperature, for simplicity we will keep it like this, and let us see how much it comes out to be. Let us check, do our unit checking. Density is this one is joule per kg per degree Kelvin, and this is degree Kelvin. So this cancels out. This kg cancel out, so you end up with joule per meter cube, which is also there here. So it is the same thing. So let us calculate and see how much it comes out to be. This is coming out to be 0.248. So this is RC. Earlier we have written so RW becomes 1 minus 0.248, which is 0.752. And now let us plug in. For plugging in, let me use a different color. It would be easy for you to follow it. So the expression that we have derived from Jaeger's solution is Beta W we have calculated earlier, which was 13964. And from this we can calculate QW as 0.752 times 70.8 into 10 to the power 6, because it has to be taken into SI unit. If we do this calculation, we will get another solution for theta, and let us see how much is the solution. So this is coming out to be 528 degree. I will write centigrade because I am more accustomed to centigrade, and this is nothing but temperature rise. Once again I am saying this is not the absolute grinding temperature, this is the temperature rise. If you want to find out the absolute grinding temperature, in that particular case you have to add the ambient. So if someone so insists that this 528 is degree Kelvin, I have no problem with that, let it be degree Kelvin. So this is coming from, where from this particular estimate is coming? So this estimate is coming from one is generalized approach. There we are getting a temperature rise of 528 degrees centigrade, and Malkin's approach we are getting theta equal to 519 degrees centigrade. What else is interesting? In case of Malkin's approach, RW is noted by eta, which is 1 minus 0.45 UCH. I have just written it in a bit different manner, but it is the same thing what I have written earlier. And generalized approach, RW, if I have not made something wrong, is this. I have to check it once. Yes. So this is coming empirically. This is coming from upper bound analytical approach. That is, what is the maximum amount of heat that the chip can take away. We do not consider melting, because experimentally in grinding melting is not observed, and as because experimentally in grinding melting is not observed, we will not take that into account. Now how much we have covered? So let me go back, get a new sheet, and let us tell you how much we have covered. So we know the difference between machining and grinding temperature. We know grinding workpiece temperature is rather high, which can lead to thermal damages. We also know that the total heat flask in grinding get apportioned or divided between four things: workpiece, wheel, fluid and chip. Currently we are doing dry grinding. What are we doing? We are doing estimation of temperature rise and dry grinding with conventional wheel. When we do that, because of dry grinding, QFL becomes 0. Because of conventional wheel, this becomes 0. Why it becomes 0? Because thermal conductivity of wheel is very less in case of conventional wheel, and time through which it goes through the cutting zone, that is also less, for which QS can be estimated to be 0. Then what we know? We know that Jaeger's solutions can be used, and using Jaeger's solution there is a standard formulation like this which will give you the rise in temperature. Using the standard solution for dry grinding, we have estimated two temperatures. One is 519, which is by Malkin's approach, and another one is 528, which is by generalized approach. Initially, during 7.1a, we have talked about that the grinding temperature can be very high. Yes, it can be very high, but the numerical example that we have taken is not so high, but this is also high enough. 527, it would definitely introduce some kind of annealing, so you would have microstructural prop change, micro hardness change. It would also induce tensile residual stress. So this is a very standard representative value of temperature. So what we have not done, we have not done dry super abrasive grinding. So that's what we are going to do on Tuesday, and what we would finally do is wet. That means with application of fluid, how to estimate grinding temperature, that we will do on Tuesday. After that, I will upload one more video, and possibly with two more videos, or maybe another 3 videos, this particular module would be done. So thank you so much. So that ends our lecture number 7.2. Thank you for your attention.